put the team on my back. I do it all for the family. Everyone think they can rap. Nobody ever gon' challenge me. Starting my week on a Sunday. They think they can make it in one day. I just been ready to take off. Waiting my turn on the runway. Never be turning around. Never be turning around. Ayy. Never be slowing it down. Never be slowing it down. Ayy. I keep my foot on the gas.
Okay, you guys, so I know in my last video I told you that I had accidentally lost a bunch of footage and everything. Again, I'm sorry about that and sorry for the delay on getting more uploads, but like I said, it would probably be a while. And this may be my second video from coming back, or it may be my first, but I wanted to show you guys progress on the Rebel. So we got the Rebel. I've got it pulled apart. It's been pulled apart for a while. Got the exhaust all welded up. It's super nice. Got all the parts back on it. There's the fuel pump and everything. So it's done, minus the fact that the tank and the rear fender are not on it at the moment. But rear fender's right here, and I've just been sanding it. I've been doing some wet sanding, and it's pretty much ready for some primer. I'm not going to do any painting tonight. The tank is right here. I'm not going to touch it because I'm super dusty, but it is ready for paint. It is completely done. I have got it wet sanded to 600 grit. It is baby butt smooth. So I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to clear coat it with some matte clear coat to give it that matte look. And then I'm going to put on these Honda stickers that come on the tank. So after that, I'm going to get this primered up first and then re-wet sand it, get it to that point with 600 grit, and then I'm going to paint them both hopefully tomorrow. Give it about 48 hours to dry, apply the stickers, and then I'm going to clean the tank out because it's got a little bit of dirt and stuff in there. I got a plan for that. And then we're going to throw everything back on the bike. I got everything we need in there, and I'm going to throw everything back on the bike, and we're going to go fill the gas tank up with some fresh gas, and we're going to go on a little ride. Before I painted it, I wanted to make sure that there was nothing inside the tank. So, and again, I'm not like a master painter or anything like that. I'm pretty good with my hands in general. So I think I'm going to be able to pull this off no problem. It's going to look pretty okay, as factory as possible. That's the goal. Other than that, I wanted to show you guys a cool little trick. So the tank had a bunch of gunk in it. Like I could shake it and I could just hear rattling. It was awful. So I was trying to think to myself, how can I get it out? So I flushed it out with water, and I know some of you are probably screaming at me for that, but I mean, what do you want me to do? Just keep running gas through it and wasting it? Water is fine as long as you get it off the metal quickly, and I did. So what I did was I flushed the whole thing out with water in my bathtub. This is after I got it perfectly sanded. I wanted to get all the gunk out of the tank before I went to paint it, because I didn't want to have to be like shaking it around and risk damaging it after the paint was already perfect. So I went ahead and cleaned the tank out. I'm going to tape off everything, and it's perfectly clean now. But what I did was when I was flushing out with water, I got a whole bunch of stuff out, but I didn't get every single little thing. So I stuffed it after I got as much as all the stuff out with water that I could. I shoved several of these microfiber cloths in there and shoved my hand in there as best I could and rubbed it around, and I pulled out a bunch of nastiness with those microfibers, but I could still rattle it around and hear some stuff. What I did then was I ripped up a bunch of 3M tape and balled it up to where it was mostly sticky, shoved a few of those in there and shook it. And I shook it until the rattles were at a bare minimum. And then I pulled all those out and got a bunch of stuff out that way as well. But there was still a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but still just a little bit of rattles here and there. And I'm a perfectionist when it comes to things like this. I don't want there to be anything in the tank before we paint, because I don't want there to be anything in there when we start riding. So what I did was I stuck a magnet inside the tank, and I pulled out a bunch of this garbage right here. So it looks like a bunch of like welding slag to me, but I don't know if that's from the factory. And you know, the fuel filters have fuel socks on them. Little stuff like this wouldn't matter too much, but I didn't want anything to impede the flow of fuel. So now, if you listen, there's nothing. So I'm happy with that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this with alcohol, let it dry really, really well, and we're gonna start painting. And once that's done and I'm happy with it, I'm gonna let it dry for about 12 hours. But I'm gonna move it and then also paint that. I'm gonna let them both dry. Honestly, I'm probably gonna let them both dry for about 24 to 48 hours before I even touch them. Like I'm not gonna put the stickers on until it's completely dry. I'm gonna give it a good 48 hours to cure. I'm gonna put them inside the house where we can control the humidity and the temperature. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop talking now and I'm gonna get started on painting. Okay, you guys, so we got the first coat on there. I went really light. I just want to get the surface of it nice and tacky. I don't want to get any runs. We don't want to, I mean, we're not trying to like make a huge profit on it or anything, but we do have to make a profit if we want to continue doing this kind of stuff. I think this is going to be just as good, if not, you know, better than what was on there, obviously. Probably not as good as a factory paint job, but we didn't get it with a factory paint job, did we? So with that being said, I think it's going to work out great. I was a little bit nervous about spraying it because I've spray painted a lot of stuff before, wheels, valve covers, etc., things like that. But the primer that I was using, it ran really bad. You know, what I normally do when I prepare to paint, because like I said, I'm not a master painter or anything like that. I'm okay. But I normally soak them in hot water, not boiling, but hot water to get the paint nice and up to a higher temperature, because it sprays so much more evenly. And that may be completely wrong, but for me, it's always worked. I'll even use a heat gun. Speaking of, got a heat gun right there. If it's like really cold, I'll heat the can up at a pretty low temperature. And I use, you know, regular old alcohol to clean the surface. That may not be right either, but at the same time, I've got some really good results off of just, you know, spit cleaning something and just spraying it, and it looks fine. So, I mean, for me, this may not be true for everyone, but for me, it seems like the more I try to prep it and perfect it, the worse it turns out. I mean, I guess if I care too much, it turns out bad. Now, the CBR turned out fantastic, but I tried harder on this bike than I've ever tried to paint something ever before in my life. You guys saw all the work we did to that. So that's what gives me pretty good confidence, especially since we're just painting a tiny little tank in this fender. But not getting too close to the fender, you guys can see there's a little bit of orange peel in there, but I feel like that'll go away once we clear coat it and once I add a few more coats of paint on there. Like I said, I dusted the paint on about 6 to 8 inches away, nice even spray, overlapping. And what I do is from one side to the other, I will start off the part and end off the part. I don't ever stop spraying, like don't ever come to here and then stop, you know what I'm saying? So little stuff like that will get you good paint results. And there's a million videos on YouTube on how to paint really, really good and get, or to paint and get good results with spray cans. If you watch like Mighty Car Mods or something like that, you can get just as good results with spray cans. Takes a lot more work, a lot more sanding, a lot more after paint, after clear coat sanding and some buffing, but you can make it look really good. So I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna let it dry for about 10, 15 minutes while, you know, still want it to be a little bit tacky for the next coat. Don't want it to get completely dry, but I'm gonna let that finish drying and then we will continue. All right, guys, so I just got back from having dinner at my grandmother's house. Have a good time, eat some good food, that sort of thing. But I'm also trying to get this Rebel done. The fender is completely done, minus clear coat. So I wanted to show it to you real quick. I put a few layers on it. Not half bad, I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be really hard to pick up on camera. It actually probably looks better on camera than it does in real life, if I'm being straight with you guys. But in real life, I would say, as the way it sits right now, I'd say it's probably about 80% 88% good. I mean, it could be better. Obviously, it could be a lot better. But I feel like right now it's kind of like in a halfway stage between being completely dry and still a little bit wet in some areas. I think once it's completely dry, it will look real crispy. So I'm happy with it. I honestly think it's probably one of my better rattle can paint jobs, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. I'm gonna quit walking around it, trying my best not to get like dirt or hair in it. I actually did kind of wet the garage floor before I started. I know a lot of people do that. But I'm trying not to. I haven't opened the garage door today like at all, and that's been a real pain in my butt because I went and actually shot some guns today at my grandmother's house as well. And as you guys probably know, and a lot of you will probably do this as well, we don't use the door. So we just come in through the garage and come in through this door. We usually keep all the other doors locked. What's up, buddy? So I've been trying to shut the doors real gentle, not trying to stir up a bunch of dust or anything. So, with that being said, clean up the house a little bit, wait for my wife to get home, and then hopefully I'll be able to show you guys the finished product of the fender, and we can get started on the tank as soon as that thing gets done drying. I finished the fender, it's completely done. We'll look at that in a second, but we have started on the tank, and I gotta say, I'm very happy with how it's turning out so far. We just did one coat on it. You can still see where, you know, I didn't go too heavy. Don't want to go too heavy because, you know, the tank, the gas tank on a bike for me is the money shot. You know, on a fairinged bike, is fairinged a word? Hashtag fairinged, are we gonna start that? Well, on a bike with fairings, yeah, you know, you don't want all this like busted up or anything like that. You don't want the front fascia to be all messed up. But like the first thing that grabs your eye, as long as you're not looking at the front of the bike, if the bike is not facing you, the first thing that catches your eye is the tank, in my opinion. I may be completely wrong. It may be the wheels or the swing arm, or if you're looking the bike over, you may check the engine covers to see if it's been laid down. But for me, first thing I look at is the tank. That is where, you know, you are balls to the wall with the bike. When you're sitting on it, you see a lot of the tank. When you're on it, the rear fender doesn't matter. That thing don't matter at all. So, but with that being said, you know, I didn't want to do a half bad job on the fender. So without further ado, here it is. Here it is in all of its glory. Still looks a little bit kind of satin right now because the clear is still drying. I moved it over here. Don't want to disturb it too much, but as you can see, there are very minimal runs, if any at all. I can't see any. And with white is such a great color to paint because you really can't see any imperfections if there is any. Black is a freaking nightmare. Any dark color that has almost like a mirror-like finish to it. So white is super nice. I think it's gonna make the bike look great with all the black that we have on here. The whole bike is black. I mean, ain't nothing about it not black, except for the M4 and part of the swing arm and a few little odds and ends here and there, the deadgum radiator cap and the forks. That's pretty much it. Everything else is black. So I think the white is really gonna panda this bike up, really gonna make it look like it's gonna pop. I know it's gonna pop. It's gonna look great. So, which of course, I mean, we're not really changing the color all that much, but I think the white that we chose is gonna be brilliant on this bike. It's just gonna be beautiful. Can't wait to see it done. So anyway, I'm going to let that dry for about 5 more minutes. Gonna lay down coat number 2. I did 4 coats on the fender. Gonna do the same thing on the tank, so that way they are very uniform, very much the same color. So 4 coats of base coat, 3 coats of clear coat. I'm not doing any more than that. Actually, you know what? I think I may have only done, no, I did 3. I did 3. So 7 coats in all. That's what I feel comfortable with. I think it's gonna look great. So we will see it again once it's done. All right, you guys, so getting kind of tired now, but I'm gonna be wrapping things up for tonight. So I got the tank completely finished. I did its very last coat. I think it looks pretty good. I'm done. The only thing I have to do now is wait for it to dry and throw the stickers on it. I might do a little bit of wet sanding with like some 2000, maybe even 3000 grit, just because I'm a perfectionist in that way. But after it dries and I decide if I'm going to do some wet sanding or not, I'm going to throw the stickers on it, and then we are going to be done. Like, that's it. And I'm super happy that I'm finally done painting. Not a huge fan of it. It's not my favorite thing to do. I'm more of a wrenching kind of person. But I cannot wait to get this thing back on the road. It's a great bike, and I can't wait to give it to its new owner, sell it to its new owner. So hopefully once we get that bike sold, we'll get another one in, and we'll be able to continue.
Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go.
A nice road it feels. I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal?
I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go.